Good afternoon, lunch and learners. Welcome to episode 52. Can you believe it? Episode 52. So today is July 3rd, 2023, the only July 3rd, 2023 you're ever going to have in your life. We're very excited to be introducing you to the 7 levels of awareness. Coach Cecilia, would you bring it on?
Yes, you must be aware that when you are that you are in the right place and the right time. After all, getting what you want in life doesn't just happen. Desire, action, and awareness play a significant role in every success you achieve.
Yes. That's why we are introducing the 7 levels of awareness. So when you want something that's well outside your comfort zone, you will have to stretch to reach it. You will also have to raise your level of awareness because you're going for something you've never been, done, or had before. So as you can see in this illustration here, there are 7 levels of awareness.
Okay, thank you for being patient. Every person on the planet functions at one of these levels. However, we may bounce back and forth between the levels according to where we are in our lives at any given time. The ultimate goal is to move from the lower level of awareness to mastery. Let's look at the role each level might play in your ability to realize your goal and succeed in every area of your life. As we go through each one, see if you can identify which level you function at most of the time. And today we're going to start at the bottom level, animal, and we're going to every day we're going to function on feature another level. So which of the coaches are going to we'll talk about animal first?
Coach Jesse would like to go first, or second, third, fourth, fifth?
Okay, so the animalistic state. And this state is where we are just receiving information and reacting. We just move. When you move a leg, you respond to the information. You just move without thinking, respond like automatically to your life. So it's the way that we are like a fight or flight. We don't accept the information. We just react. We don't even listen to what they're saying. We're not processing the information. We don't just whatever in life what we live in. We just react to the circumstances outside of our world. So we don't have control. We do like they say the word like an animal. We are animals when we go through this stage. So let's see what else here coach want to talk about.
Yes, yes, thank you. You know what Coach says? Coach Bruce, what comes to mind is like, I have 3 kids. My youngest, she's 16 months old. The oldest, 27. But I remember growing up with my kids as they were babies. Like when they were like, I don't know, like a year old or 18 months. I always used to grab them, like bump their heads, like put my head against their head, and they always reacted. They never went back, and they're like, oh, they always push back. And if you try to take anything away from a baby, they'll react right on the spot, like without even knowing it. That's the way that these babies are programmed. And that's how, like, most of us, like, I'm talking from experience for myself. Like, I grew up with that mentality, like reacting. I didn't know there was such thing as reacting and responding. I always saw myself like reacting to every situation. Even when I was in before I even got introduced to personal development. When I was out in the construction sites, I mean, you talk to people that like not very educated people out there, so you always acting like reacting on the spot. Like somebody will try to say something to you, and like your mind's already like ready to fire back. So yes, we have to be real mindful. We have to first of all we have to understand what are the 7 levels of awareness, and that's the whole reason we're bringing this to you guys. So, what about you, Coach Bruce?
I love what you're saying. I love your example too, Coach Vaughn. And I really appreciate you giving me a little time to think about it too. So yeah, we're doing animal, and yet the whole idea is to get to level 7 mastery. That's where you respond versus reacting. And so many of us, I know that there are people where I first met them, and their responses, something I might have said, just was very jarring. Um, And it's like when I would see them the next time, my shoulders are, hunched up, and I'm like in kind of a defense. I don't want to hear what they have to say. So that's reacting. The response is, I brought this up the other day where I know when I was doing detective work, I had certain attorneys that did not pay on time, and I had employees that I had to pay on time. So I used to go downtown Chicago, and it frustrated me. I thought, this is collection Friday because I got to pay my bills and I got to be solvent in my accounts. And I was just so upset. And a lot of these attorneys would make me wait in the waiting room. And I'm thinking, you owe me money. Take out your checkbook, pay me. Then I go into the office and they're talking and they're taking phone calls. And finally, they would write me the check that they owed me. And then this one attorney in particular says, I'm really glad you stopped in. I've got a couple of cases. And usually it's like 3 or 4 cases, new cases to work on. So, and then I had another attorney like that too. So normally when I would come home from Collection Friday, I had 5 or 6 new cases. So this went on for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it was damaged Collection Friday, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Bruce, you're an idiot. This is Marketing Friday. This is where you're getting ongoing new business. And then all of a sudden, yay, today is Marketing Friday. I get to go downtown. I get to shake hands. I get to press a flesh, maybe go out to dinner, lunch with one of them. And I was like, I'm solidifying my relationships. But it was that shift from being annoyed, just reacting, to responding was, I get to be in front of them, and they have the opportunity to, in their own time, go through whatever they needed to. And they say, oh, I've been meaning to call you. Let me give you a couple new cases. So it's just that shifting from reacting to responding. So it works real well.
Beautiful. Now Coach Ceci is probably thinking about something that she wants to use an example or something. You have anything else, Ceci, that you would like to?
I was thinking about, what, in our regular life, that's what we are used to respond to every scene. And if really have to learn about this, an animal, you hit the animal and the animal react right away, because if you think like it's an animal, he's not going to feel it, but he reacts right away. But he doesn't have the capacity to learn, to reason like we are. So the difference is that we have to stop. If we get some information, stop right there, and without not responding right there, stop and think, and then act. That's the difference with the animal. When he received the stone that I threw on his, because I say it's a horsey, and the horse doesn't gonna feel. No, immediately he reacts. But with a person, you give they send it, or we receive information, and when we receive the information, it's up to us to accept it, to think about it, and then we're gonna respond. Or just how are we going to, or just be reactive, because it's easier to be reactive. There's no thinking there. So that's called the animal state, and I think it's the easiest one to do it. That's what most of the people. If we're not training, if we don't go into these groups or master groups, we're not going to learn that. So it's a great opportunity for us to start discriminating this state that we have all the time available, but it's not the best one. And in our regular relationships happen very often. We don't like something and we just want to answer. It just happened to me today. You want to say, no, So wait a minute. What's going on here? So it's check with ourselves. Stop, think, and act. I'll invite you to take those steps. Stop, think, and act. Be responsive, not reactive.
Beautiful, beautiful, Coach Cecilia. I just before this call, I got an email from my son, and he broke his company's sales record this past month. And I do remember I was a divorced dad, and so I was helping to pay for the place where he and his mother lived, and I was finding a place for me to live, and I had a business I was running, and I was doing a lot of volunteer work. In 1 month, he and I went out to dinner. We used to go to dinner 3 or 4 times a week, and he was saying, Dad, I want this, Dad, I want that. And he was probably about 7. And I remember snapping at him like, Jeremy, you got to stop with the I wants. You got to stop. And he looked a little bit hurt and he kind of backed down. And I looked at him, I felt so horrible. And I thought, someday he might be a salesperson. And I don't want him thinking that when he's asking for the orders, every salesperson has to ask for the order. I don't want him to feel like he's doing anything wrong. So I looked and I said, Jeremy, I apologize. I really apologize. I want you to know you didn't do anything wrong. I'm a little tight on money this month, this week, and you didn't do anything wrong. And you always have the right to ask. I always have the right to respond, like I don't have the money right now, but you didn't do anything wrong. You always have the right to ask.
That's
And,
beautiful.
now he's 33, he's not 6 or 7, and he just broke his company's sales record. So this past month, he sold $172,000 worth of products and services. Like, thank you, Jeremy, for allowing me to respond and accepting it in a nice way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to Jeremy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And really is a lot the way you communicate with him and the lesson that you participate the most of the time when you are with him is like about a lesson. What are you learning in life? What did you learn from this? What are you learning from this? So this is amazing to see that communication and that relationship.
So I love this.
Congratulations to Jeremy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you did it.
So parents, when you're teaching your kids, take the time to learn yourself. I mean, that's a real important learning lesson. It's like, yeah, I was teaching him, but on the other hand, I was teaching him something not okay initially. I was giving him a reactive response. He recoiled, he held back. And I was like, no, I could do this over and respond and really give him some coaching. You did nothing wrong, and it's just me. It was just me at that moment. It's where I am. And again, you always have the right to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, for our parents, I remember when I get A's in school and I was, it was perfect. Now, okay, they don't even congratulate me. But if I had a B, they immediately going to ask me to go to get an A, and it was nothing good. But if I got the A, that was always most of the time was a good student. I was not, I was not acknowledged by that, so I was missing that. So what I did with my students was the opposite. You gotta see you're doing good. You're gonna get to the A. You're gonna get to the A, and you're great. And you are. And you gotta see in this moment in your life because we're gonna have C's and A's and this and this. But in my space, when I was at, it was about the A. You got the A, or you're not a good student. So for me, it was like I was responding to the A's only, but because I have two. And it was, but when I was not recognized, so I was like, I was resentful. So what a beautiful way to acknowledge that. And in that moment, they were having the time, my parents, to think, oh, I don't know if it's because we are 7 of us, or 6 of us, with me 7, they didn't want to make the other ones wrong. Would be also too. And I understand that. There was no comparison that. But also I miss that acknowledgement. So it was good for my parents to say, you did great. And very good what you're doing, or it's very good, you're doing good. But because of our many of us, there was not the acknowledgement. So responding is, no, you got the A again. You're the best one. You gotta get the A's. So the reaction, like we react to everything, but we don't stop and think. So I was missing that. But when I was in school, so my students got the C's, and the D's were like I give them most attention because I give them the most attention and to promote more, help them to move up, and tell them that they were perfect and they were complete, and they had the greatness inside themselves, because that's what I was following.
So what I'm hearing, Coach Ceci, is that you had that reaction as a child, but as an adult, you had the perspective of time to say, you know what, I'm going to respond. I'm going to respond in a way that's going to make a difference for my students.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In my
Congratulations.
life and with everybody, if I just like, wait a minute. And but because we look for perfection in the world, and that's what I was developing. As a school teacher, you gotta be perfect in everything. So you were, and then people want to respond for you. And now I think that's a beautiful thing to think, stop, think, and act. Take a time for yourself or to be okay. It's okay to think. It's not about rushing and answering like an animal, reacting only. So I love that.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That's beautiful. You know what? I just want to mention one thing before we go, but I love it when Bruce talked about Marketing Fridays. If you were just to take a different perspective when you're out there meeting with your, especially I'm talking to those people that do construction work, and that's where I come from. But like, if I would have shifted my mind, my perspective of the way that I treated the people that were giving me work, instead of always reacting and being pretty much stupid out there on the job site, like you could like actually make some real good money out there if you just shift your mind, shift the way that you think, and shift the way that you treat others. If you shift, just make this little small shift versus reacting to your bosses or whoever's giving you jobs, and you just shift to respond to their whatever it is that they're asking for, you're gonna get a lot more work, and that's gonna equal a lot more money in your pockets, guys. So that's what I wanted to add, Bruce.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Mhm.
Beautiful, Coach Juan. Beautiful, Coach Sassy. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for today. For the viewers, remember, we're going to be going over every one of these steps in the pyramid here. So tomorrow, it is the step 2 mass.
Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Oh, please, Coach Juan.
Tomorrow is Observation Day. Today's a holiday in the United States of America, so we're taking the day off to honor the 4th of July, the
4th
Independence.
of July. Yes, in Chicago, we're celebrating 4th of July tomorrow. So I invite you to celebrate with us. Get into your family and then have a barbecue to celebrate
Yes.
the freedom of American.
So thank you, Coach Juan. Thank you, Coach Sassy. Thank you for keeping me honest about don't look for us tomorrow.
Okay.
But
But we'll be
Wednesday
here.
will be episode 53. So in the
Yes.
meantime, have a great time, whether you're in the United States or somewhere else. Really enjoy yourself, celebrate, and be good to each other.
Thank you. We'll see you Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.